So the word on the street is you want to be a travel healthcare worker, and you came to this video because you know I'm going to answer questions like pros, cons, travel agencies to choose, healthcare, vacations. I'm going to answer it all in this video, so you don't need to look nowhere else. Go ahead and ring that little bell. Go ahead and subscribe so that you can stay tuned in with Teresa. Okay, so we're going to talk about this from the perspective of a travel sonographer. I am an ultrasound tech, sonographer, but guess what? The things that I'm gonna tell you, it applies no matter what travel healthcare that you do, okay? It all works the same, we just do a little bit of a different job. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is how I got started with travel healthcare. Okay, so when I was in school, my teachers kind of brushed over travel healthcare, kind of like it was like, a minimal amount of people do it, but I knew when they even mentioned it, I was interested in it. And 3 years into me being a sonographer is when I decided to embark on my journey of travel sonography. So it was June of 2021, and now we are in April of 2025 that I began my travel healthcare journey. What attracted me to want to get into travel like big time was I was bored. No lie, I was a bit bored in my outpatient ultrasound position. I wasn't feeling challenged, and they started to give me students, and I felt that there was more knowledge that I needed to obtain so that I could even share with them. Yeah, I know. So my why is a lot different from most people's why. Most people, I feel like, get into it for the money, which the money is great. We'll talk about that too. But my why was I wanted to learn as much as I could. I wanted a crash course into sonography. I wanted to just be challenged, have a good time, explore the world on somebody else's dime. Okay. So how does travel healthcare work? So, one of the main things people talk about is like agencies and stuff like that. And later we'll get into like choosing the agency. But let's kind of fast forward here. So you choose an agency. In the world of sonography, and I believe a lot of travel tech positions, you got to have 2 years experience. However, I have seen some nursing positions where you only need 1 year experience. I am happy that I went in with 3 years experience because I did know enough to be an asset to the team. Like I wasn't coming on as some new grad that needed a lot of like hand holding. I came in able to hit the ground running with a lot of things, and there were some things that I still needed to learn, of course, but most things I knew how to do, which made me an asset to the team. Okay, they need you here to help them. They aren't having you here so that they can babysit you. So having more experience, it's just, yeah, you need some experience. So if it's say 1 year, 2 year, whatever, make sure you wait your time before you even start thinking too much about it. Okay, so I needed 2 year experience, yes. And then the contracts are usually 13 weeks. I have done contracts much longer than 13 weeks, but they're usually 13 weeks, at least your first contract. And then you have the ability to be able to extend your contract at most institutions. Most institutions that have a traveler, it's not the first time that they've had a traveler. So usually like they need a traveler multiple times a year, or they just have like open travel positions. Like after your 13 weeks, if you're leaving, they already got their position up to refill it with somebody else because they're understaffed and they need a body. So there is that. Okay, and this gets me. People be out here thinking that us travelers don't have health care. Stop that. No, it is still a job. It's still a job. It's just a, I would say non-traditional version of having a job, but I very much had access to having full comprehensive health care, 401k with matching, sick time. So you get benefits with travel, okay? I was able to get health care for myself as well as put my husband on my health insurance plan. I was able to get like 10 or 13 therapy sessions for free per year per person, dental insurance, my 401k with the agency that I was with, I think was a 3% matching 401k. or first 3% matching. And then sick time, you do accrue sick time. So that was super nice. The thing about sick time is though, it does expire. It expires 1 year from the time that you received it. So if you accrued an hour of sick time in June of 2021, by June of 2022, if you didn't use that hour, then it disappears. So you do get sick time, and I always use my sick time on my assignments. And honestly, it usually is for like a mental health day. So I might just use 8 hours of sick time, but on every 13-week assignment, I do go ahead and use one because usually I feel like I need one. You are working in a new environment. You might be doing 8, 10, 12-hour shifts, whatever, but I could always use a mental health day. Even if like nothing's going wrong with my mental health, I just might need a day to just be able to, recuperate and have some time to myself so that I can refresh, come back as my best self. So we do get benefits, and I just named a few, but there's more benefits than what I named. So the 13-week thing. So the minimum assignment I have ever signed up for is 13 weeks. However, I was up for a position that was, I think it was 7 or 8 week assignment over in the Carolinas, but I didn't take it because I had a better opportunity offered to me. But the longest assignment I have done is 9 months. Yeah, 9 months. I was at that assignment so long that some of the new staff members were like asking me certain questions about like workflow and how certain orders needed to be and things like that, which let me know I had been there too long. Like, girl, it's time to go. But I really enjoyed that assignment. I'll tell you what places I've been to and things like that in a moment. But yeah, my longest assignment was 9 months. It started off as a 13-week assignment. And then after my first 13 weeks, I was able to get a crazy good bill rate. They increased my pay. Well, my recruiter is amazing. I'll put her information in the description, but my recruiter was able to advocate for me because there was other pay that was higher, like in the metro area. So I got an extra $300 per week. Okay, $1,200 per month to stay at that assignment. So I decided to do a contract that was an extra 6 months at that locked in rate. And I did build in like a lot of vacation into that assignment, but ultimately I was able to keep a good rate, have a long-term housing option, and I love the assignment, so I didn't mind being there for 9 months. My shortest assignment, was 13 weeks. Okay, so the pros of being a travel healthcare person. I want to say travel healthcare girly so bad because I feel like I'm making this video for myself as well. So the pros of me being a travel healthcare girly was independence. I love that I was able to like have control over choosing what locations I went to. I was able to have I was able to have control really, because if I'm contractually scheduled for 4 10-hour day shifts, they can't go put me on 4 10-hour night shifts or put me on a 10-hour shift. Like they have to not 10 hours. They can't put me on anything beyond what my contract states, which I really enjoy. And if they tried to do anything, I was able to say like, hey, well, my contract says this, which was really nice. Now, sometimes if I wanted to be flexible and they needed something, then you could work that out. But if you wanted to stick to whatever your contract says, you're able to do that as well. So I like the control. I like the independence as a traveler. I usually like to go into institutions. I do my thing. I'll like go by myself sometimes, but it's like I was able to work in a team environment, but I also was able to have that independence as well. The financial freedom, for sure, you are getting paid more money. There's a lot of stipulations and just things that go with making extra money. We'll talk about in a whole different video because it deserves its own video. I'll tell you in that video how the pay structure works and stuff like that. But the financial freedom, like in 1 year, my husband and I, really largely due to the extra income I was receiving, we were able to like pay off cars, pay off student loans, things like that. So the financial freedom is definitely a 10 out of 10 plus 10. Okay. Next pro is explore. You are able to explore the place that you're living in. So for 13 weeks, you go to a city, state you've never been in. On your off days, it's not just mundane unless you want it to be, but like you're able to like try new hikes, try new restaurants, try all those things, and basically be like a tourist for 3 months. Yeah, I like that a lot, especially because somebody else is paying for it. Adaptability is also a pro. Me traveling to different places, having to work in new environments with new people, new radiologists, use new machines. Like I really got good at adapting. Humans, period, we adapt really well, but being a travel healthcare worker, I just was able to adapt. And now in my staff position that I have back here at what I call home, I don't really get too worked up about what pops on the schedule. I just do whatever because I was so used to adapting at the other places that I was at. So there's that. Cons. I really don't have a lot of cons for travel healthcare. Life is what you make it. The cons that I will say is you have contracted days to work, which you would with a staff position as well. But when it's contract, it's kind of like the stakes are higher. So if they have you contracted to do 410s and let's say you're calling out for a lot of those 410s, that is an issue. And it's a bigger issue than what it would be at a staff position because a contract, they're asking you to be there 13 weeks, 4 days a week. If you can't show up for that, it's kind of not a big deal for them to just cancel you. So that's another con, is that contracts can get canceled. However, I have never been canceled by a contract at all, never even been close to the idea of a cancel. However, I usually would pick good institutions to work for. I was taking contracts at places that if I lived in that state, I would work at that institution as a staff person. So that's important too. I wasn't picking certain known places that don't treat employees well and things like that because I just didn't want none of that smoke. I just didn't. The next thing I want to talk about is where have I been? Okay. So my first contract was in Seattle, Washington. I was there for 3 months during the summer and it did not rain during that 3 months. I was there for 100 days and wow, the views, the weather, the people was amazing. Next, I went to Palo Alto, California. That's where I was for 9 months. Awesome experience. And there actually, I had my first luxury apartment in Palo Alto, California. It was during COVID. Rates was high, but the housing cost was lower because they just needed money in these places. So I had such a luxury apartment and that was a first for my husband and I. So it really elevated the way of life that we have chose to live since then. Next, I went to Santa Monica, California. I was there for 3 months. I was expecting to stay there longer, but 3 months was enough time. And then I took a break and I worked at home. And then I went to New Orleans, Louisiana for 3 months. That was great. I worked only weekends there. Well, no, I had a various schedule, but eventually I think I was working only weekends, but I asked for that. I preferred that. And the whole department loved me for it because staff people do not want to work weekends for real. I want to work weekends. Okay. I loved it. I was able to take a whole nother registry and basically study for my registry while on that shift because that shift was so slow. And it was just great. I love New Orleans, Louisiana, that contract. And then I also did Columbus, Ohio, OH. Say IO in the comments. Please say IO in the comments. I also did Calabasas, California. I was there for 3 months. I was able to work with a hospital and have them open up a position for me because they love me, I love them, and why not? So second to last thing is vacations. So I built vacations into my contracts. In the beginning, I built vacations into my contracts so I could actually go places because my thought is if I'm all the way over in California, that's a great time for me to be going back and forth to Mexico, things like that. But I always built vacation into my contracts to go somewhere to explore the further places. And then the places that was closer, of course, you could just do it on your off days. Vacations, Teresa. Come on, vacations. In between your contracts, you can, of course, go on vacation. When it comes to your healthcare, as long as your next assignment starts 21 days after or within 21 days after your assignment ends, you're able to hold your health care, which is really nice. It's a pretty good loophole. So in that case, I would take 2 weeks off minimum in between contracts, keep my health care, and still be able to either spend time at home, see friends, family, vacation, whatever. So the next thing that's like really important is agencies. What agency do I recommend? Aya Healthcare? No, but for real, I'm going to put my recruiter's information in a description. My recruiter was that girl, okay? She knew everything that she needed to know. She was super helpful. Things with like scrubs reimbursement, parking reimbursement. She didn't bat an eye. She made sure I was well taken care of, as well as well informed as to everything that I needed to know to be a traveler. And of course, I had long conversations with my recruiter before I even took my first assignment, because I was very fearful. Like, I was scared of leaving a safe staff position to become a traveler. And of course, sometimes it sounds too good to be true. Like, oh, you're telling me that I get to, go across the country, you'll pay for my housing, and I get paid twice, if not more than twice of what I'm getting paid now. Like, it just didn't seem real. So I really like vetted my recruiter. And she is awesome. She's been in the game for over a decade, doing what she does now. So I'm gonna put her information down there, and make sure you tell her I sent you, because you and I both get a referral bonus, okay? Please don't leave me out. It's free coins for you and I, so like, why gatekeep? But Aya Healthcare, I love their pay transparency. If you go to their website, which I will show in my next video, the pay breakdown from different contracts on their website. They have the best pay transparency. Their contracts, they have good relationships with these institutions. So their contracts that I've done wasn't getting canceled. I had one recruiter the whole time. They weren't flipping me around with new recruiters. Everything, their compliance, just everything at Aya Healthcare was great. Issues, when they came up, it was fixed within like minutes, okay? Like, sometimes if there was an issue on a Friday, they didn't make me wait till Monday for it to get figured out. So things like that, I really respect them. I love them as an agency. I trusted them with my career. I love that they did 401k matching. They had good healthcare benefits. So Aya Healthcare, Aya Healthcare, Aya Healthcare. At this point, they probably need to go ahead and put me on payroll, because the way I just shout them out is wow. So again, I'm Teresa. Thanks for checking out my video here at Path to Passing. Okay, make sure you grab a copy of my book, RVT in 10 Days, or Registry Ready in 10 Days. I'm so happy to help you, to serve you, and watch my full next video on a pay breakdown as a travel healthcare worker. I love you. Bye.